What's up, guys? I've been trying to put out some more content lately. One I still need to do is I wanted to do a video about my journey as far as a newer red dot shooter. After shooting irons pretty much since I started shooting guns. Now, obviously, that amount of shooting can go up and down, but just recently I've gotten more into it and I've transitioned more recently than not into red dot. So I'm trying to make an outline of that and kind of covering what I think would be helpful for newer people or people who may be interested, curious about it, just to kind of see what it may be from my perspective. But anyway, this video is about how to reverse flick or Spydie-flick a knife open. Someone commented on one of my knife videos. They asked me to show them how I do it. Now, as far as my knife hobby, I'm a lot less into it. That doesn't mean I don't love knives. I do really see the appreciation for knives, especially the steel and the cutting. But anyway, this is more about how to deploy it as far as opening a folding knife. First of all, this is a reverse flick. So this, normally you'll usually slow roll it with your thumb, at least one-handed, or you can flick it open with your thumb like that. Reverse flicking is using your middle finger generally. You can even use your ring finger or even your index, generally your middle finger, like that. And just doing the same thing but with the reverse side of your hand. Now, the amount of pressure, technique, and stuff will differ between the knife as far as the locking mechanism, what kind of deployment method they have as far as on the blade, like this one has a thumb stud. Most of my knives have little holes because I'm just a basic person who likes Spydercos. I've had a lot of other knives before, and don't get me wrong, they're great, but each one's going to take a little bit different application to it. Some of the harder ones to do are, honestly, lockbacks, like this one. A lot of it depends on as far as how it opens and the locking mechanism. For example, this is a liner lock basically, but the lock is on the top of the knife. And there is a little detent ball which falls into a hole in the blade to keep it closed. So the detent is the force that keeps it closed like that. So you see when the amount of force I need to pull it out of that closed position. The detent is really the lock bar, because it basically has to overcome that geometry there to lift this up, overcome the spring, and then open that way. And this is just a basic liner lock. Same, it's got a detent like this, but the liner part is in the lock bar is on the bottom instead of the top of my Spydercos. But you just have to overcome that part. And this one, you have to get your thumb underneath the thumb, or the middle finger underneath the thumb stud. You want to go in like a direction where it would open up. It can be different with any knives, but if you play around with it, if you want to thumb flick it like that, try to find an angle where it, you can put enough resistance on there to pop it open. Also, how I rest it is index fingers underneath the pivot, and I'll rest the heel or the bottom, like in the palm somewhere. So the only places it's really touching is thumb, index finger, palm, and then my middle finger, which is going to open it. So I just slowly increase pressure until it pops open. This is a little bit harder for me than, say, a thumb hole, like on a Spyderco. So same holding method. Got the end of the knife in my palm. I'm indexing it with my index finger there. Got my thumb just kind of pressing down on it so it doesn't fly away. And then I'm slowly building pressure up with my middle finger until it pops open. And every knife's going to feel different. This one, it feels a little bit, the detent's probably the same strength, but the size of the blade's different. But same method. Index finger there, heel of the knife in the palm. Got my thumb holding it down, and I'm slowly building up pressure with my middle finger, going this way, like this, until it pops open. Now this is an interesting one. This is a shark lock. So basically there's a spring here that holds it down, and then this bar will lock. But to overcome it, it's almost like a lockback as far as what holds the detent. So it's more of a spongy detent. So you're gonna have to put a little bit more oomph into this one, a little more. You're gonna have to fly that middle finger out. Sometimes it's not successful, but as long as you kind of get good enough pressure and can build it and fly it out. It doesn't fly out as good as something like this. Obviously, I'm not as practiced with it, but these are easy because it's got that defined detent that holds it. See, and then you overcome it. I'm not sure about the words to describe it. Now, as far as a button lock, it's kind of mushy too, because all it is just like the little button lock is hitting a D10 inside there, and so it's not very defined like a frame lock, liner lock, compression lock. But you do the same thing there with that. It's not going to be as snappy, but you can still do it. And finally, the liner lock. This is going to be one of the harder ones. See, it doesn't. There you go. This one you got to give it more of an up feeling, so you get more power up. That way it yeah, I cannot not do that successfully sometimes. Plus, mine's pretty tight. Another thing to remember is if you have a frame lock where the lock bar is on the external part of the frame. I don't have any. This is literally on most of my folding knives. I may have a couple somewhere else. But if the lock bar is on the frame itself, you put any pressure there. Some knives are very finicky, where any pressure on that lock bar, where it's pressing the D10 into the blade to keep it from opening, it may cause deployment errors. So you're gonna have to be careful with how you're pressing on that frame. I wish I had a frame lock with me, but I don't. But just be careful how much pressure you're putting on the frame, and also careful how you're pressing against the clip, if it's a right-handed clip one, because the clip sometimes rests on that lock bar, and it can keep the D10 in and prevent you from like flicking it open, if that makes sense. I hope that made sense. I hope the words I used was descriptive enough to kind of help, but just practice with it. Every knife's going to be different. The most easy ones that I found have been Spyderco's. Like I said, if you're just thumb flicking, you're basically flinging your thumb up. Easy peasy. But as far as reverse flicking, Spydie flicking, I'll usually hold all of them the same and just get my thumbnail in there, middle finger in there, and just fling up, just like that. If you have any questions, let me know. If you thought this was a dumb idea for a video, hey, feel free. I don't take this stuff too seriously, guys. It's a hobby. If I never open enough like this, as far as fast operating, I'll be fine. I just mostly see these as tools. But some people just love popping them up all the time and doing that. It's it's fidgety, of course. People like that. I don't mind it at all. Anyway, off topic. That's it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Could I have described it better? Critique me, comment. Did it help? Let me know. Y'all have a good night.